Talk Audio. Hi and welcome back to our Tech Talk Audio series about responsible AI. In this final episode of the series, Rudraksh Pavalkar, Accenture's Global Delivery Lead for the internal Responsible AI program, will talk to us about Chat GPT, the revolutionary language model that everybody's talking about and talking to. So Rudy, what is Chat GPT and what's so special about it?
So Chat GPT stands for Chat Generative Pre-trained Transformer, which is a chatbot that was launched on November 30th, 2022 by OpenAI. This particular chatbot is based on top of GPT-3, which is the old generative AI model by OpenAI. Uh, the amount of data that has been used to train ChatGPT is enormous, and that is the reason it is able to provide very detailed answers to the complex problems or questions and also explain things easily. So it is nothing but a big language model based chatbot that actually help you provide answers. You can talk to the robot or the machine as if you're talking to a person, and it will provide all the information based on the data it has been trained on. The underlying data or the information is so big that it can provide you answer on almost anything and everything, right? So that's why people are excited as well as scared, and in both ways, in both cases, ChatGPT is on people's tongue these days.
What could Chat GPT be used for in a business, but also in a day-to-day context?
It is useful for companies which are small or mid-sized companies which doesn't have big call center services or delivery centers to support the call center services. Plus, they don't have bigger support mechanism. They can use these kind of chatbots to actually engage with the customers on 24 by 7 basis and then increase their customer retention, customer services, etc. It can also be used in the areas in the field force. For example, if you have an engineer on the oil rig, also it can help human beings who are not open to share their problems with people, but they may be comfortable to share their mental issues discussion with a machine. They may be more comfortable doing that. So they can ask questions about the depression or any support they need to avoid loneliness. So things like that can also be addressed.
Would you say ChatGPT is as revolutionary as everybody seems to believe?
That definitely opens up the horizon where we can realize singularity happening sooner than what was anticipated. With this particular chatbot, definitely AI has advanced a lot.
So, what do you think? What are experts generally worried about when it comes to ChatGPT?
So the main thing is that the kind of data it is being trained upon, right? Most of the time, it is missing the context to fairness or explainability. It may have bias, right? So you can not depend 100% on the output provided by ChatGPT. It may also use some data that may be plagiarized from someone else's work. If you want to use a ChatGPT to write an essay or solve a problem, ChatGPT is so complex, but at the same time, so elegant in providing the writings. Students are using it to do their homeworks. Or if you want, you can create some Python or Java based codes. You just provide the problem or ask ChatGPT to write a code to address a particular use case, and it will write the code for you. You just copy it and then paste it. So it is kind of creating issues with plagiarism as well as non-checked or code with some bias or some fairness issues or explainability issues that may come as a problem when you implement the code generated by that.
Can you give us two examples on how ChatGPT could be used unethically?
So, for example, since we know that the underlying data set or the language model is so big, and it is actually consuming almost 500 plus GB worth of data for a simple write up that it provide to you. From the responsible AI perspective, one issue that I see is that when you are writing a code or requesting ChatGPT to write a code for you, right? For a simple thing, it's fine, but for a complex use case, and you are breaking down that complex problem into multiple, let's say, well, breakdown structures, and you have multiple codes for multiple sub use cases, and then you combine it together, it may end up being a very complex code with a lot of human enforced biases, maybe coming from the code itself or from the data itself. And you are creating, let's say, a chatbot for a particular government agency, let's say, for example,
Mhm.
and that chatbot uses these different components. It may end up being a very biased chatbot and may not provide a right answer to the right problem and to the right person, and may provide very racist output as well in certain cases. So that is one problem that I see.
Mhm.
Problem is, as I mentioned about students using it to solve their problems, right? So, or math problem, physics problem. So we have seen some examples where a student copies a math problem into the Chat GPT, and then Chat GPT just provide the rationale that what does this problem mean, what are the potential ways of solving it, and this is one
Mhm.
of the way to solve it, and this is the answer. So it will not just give you, okay, the answer is B, it will also give you a proper reasoning behind it. So it is also resulting in students not doing their job and not learning properly
Mhm.
and just using it to solving their problems, right? So this is one of the biggest concerns the professors or school teachers are raising, because they have seen these issues coming in, and as a result of it, let's say the New York school, the municipality or whatever, they
Yeah.
have actually banned Chat GPT in their school system. So yeah, it was New York state school systems. They've banned it in that particular state.
So, what is needed in terms of responsible AI principles to ensure that ChatGPT and or a similar chatbot is used correctly?
The biggest part is that when you use a very complex chatbot like ChatGPT in different solutions, so it is all use case by use case implementation. So the idea is that identify the use case, identify the problem which that particular use case will solve, and how it will be implemented, and then you have to make sure that you have proper checks, controls, and standards put in place to make sure they are being addressed properly, they are being mapped to the dimensions or the principles of responsible AI properly, and proper testing has been done, right? But since it is so nascent in stage and we are still finding out what else it could do, it will be hard to say, but definitely these kind of best practices will help us.
Thanks, Rudy. Thank you a lot for these insights in this and all the previous episodes, and thank you, dear listeners, for tuning in. If you haven't done so, check the previous episodes to get a better understanding of responsible AI and how it is applied in different fields. And yes, check out our online magazine Binary Dreams. Follow the link in the video description for that. Thanks and goodbye. Tech Talk Audio.